It's an amazing time, the mid-90s and late 90s, to be in New York because I just felt that the opportunity was there. There was a gap in the market. I mean, I was really interested in all these other publications that were out. Obviously there was Ebony magazine that spoke to the black community. There was a music magazine called Vibe that had been started by Quincy Jones. There was a magazine aimed at Latina women called Latina Magazine. And I was looking at all these publications and figured that this could become the endeavor of my life and that I too could start a publication in the US that would speak to ethnic minorities, but from a perspective that I would end up calling transcultural, because one of the things that really bothered me in these major kind of Western nations where I grew up was this whole concept of, and this is a term that was used earlier as well, of communitarianism. I really didn't like the fact that everything was always segmented according to different communities and so on. And in the United States, I mean, there was a vibrant marketplace for ethnic media and for ethnic publications, but again, Ebony spoke to black people, Essence spoke to black women, Latina spoke to Latina women, and I really wanted to do something different. Hence the whole concept of transculturalism, which was really finding the common ground between different cultures. And then what happened after that, oops, sorry, this is a publication that I launched called Trace. We grew really, really fast in the United States, and we were able to aggregate readers really targeting people living in New York, Miami, Los Angeles, and Chicago that were young adults who were interested in a different perspective. So we obviously came from an ethnic point of view. I mean, we had one white cover in the 14 years I've been publishing this magazine, and it was Gwen Stefani. But it was never an exclusion. It was never about us and them. It was really about finding ways to represent youth culture and to build a business around the fact that there was common ground emerging in youth culture. And we became successful, and the magazine became influential to the point where in 2003 we were able to get funding from Goldman Sachs to launch a television network here in France called Trace TV. In the same year, we started publishing our country-themed issues, began looking at various Americans or immigrants who came to America and who became successful. It was really interesting to approach it from a youth culture perspective because the dialogue was a little bit more dynamic in a way. It was really interesting targeting young people because in New York, which is where the magazine's been based since 1998, you would find all these immigrants who became really successful by just tapping into their own creativity. And Trace has been the magazine that's made it its mission to report on the creativity of, well, people of color, pretty much, in the United States. And that became our business model. That became what it was because essentially we've been able to build a business by just tapping into the changing demographics of America. If the US is fast becoming a majority of minorities, as a journalist, I saw that that would probably be the United States would probably be the place where we would have the most immediate impact. The numbers don't lie. The numbers are very, very clear. And again, the US has been a very accepting landscape and market for minority-run media. Advertisers, obviously, that was always the biggest challenge for any magazine publisher. Advertisers, in the UK, we had just a couple of advertisers. That's why the magazine never became very successful in the UK. But in the US, we were able to tap into the fact that already a decade ago, in 2000, 17% of the ad spending was used to reach minorities, and that became that was our media kit. That's how we went and sold this point of view, which is the transcultural point of view.
I want to talk briefly about what I have learned over the last 12 years as I've worked closely with this sector about ethnic media's distinctive role